Italian Football Podcast.
So the question is, how far can Napoli go in the Champions League this season? Can they go all the way?
I think so. I keep saying, I said after the group stages, they're my dark horse to win the Champions League, and I stand by that. And I mean, before the season, I said I think they are the team that are going to go the furthest of all the Italian teams because of the style that they play. And I think that's what, in any European football, usually at the European Cup level, at the Champions League, that's the kind of football that does the best, right? I think they are a dark horse. Absolutely. If the draw allows them to avoid Bayern Munich and Man City, why not? Why not get to
more
the
of a dark horse? Would you describe them as more of a dark horse now?
Yeah, I think so.
Is dark horse the right way to describe this?
I think so.
Team?
I don't think they're the favorites. For me, look, City and Bayern are favorites. They play the sheer firepower in their arsenal, even when it's not looking, even when it's not working. Sorry, for them, they just have the killer instinct.
Yeah. I think challenger or potential challenger is probably the right way to describe it. I think they're more than a dark horse now. I would say dark horse, you'd probably call them that in the group stages. Now they're in the knockouts. But I think that, what we do have to look at the other side of things is the lack of experience is the big issue for me. They've never, ever played in a quarterfinal in their history. So if they go through, which we'd expect them to, how will they handle it? I mean, Carlo Ancelotti spoke, if you see his post-match press conference to Real Madrid's comeback win against Liverpool at Anfield, they were 2-0 down after 14 minutes in that game. Most people would think at Anfield, regardless of Liverpool's form this season, you're playing at Anfield, you're 2-0 down, you're going to get blitzed, you're going to get absolutely blasted away. They come back and won 5-2 in that game. And Ancelotti spoke about how the experience of his players made the difference when they were 2-0 down. And having players like that have been there and won multiple Champions League and played in the latter stages and handled these situations, when the games get on the knife edge with Napoli, which they will do later on against the very biggest teams, how will Napoli handle it? So far, though, Napoli have answered every question. We've even asked this question in Serie A. How would they handle it after they lost to Inter and suddenly the gap is closed and they're playing Juventus and was it Milan or Inter had the chance to close it further before they played that game? How would they handle that? Well, they went on a winning run. So far they've answered every question, but you can't get away from that lack of experience. You just can't buy that. And if you look at the team, not just experience, but the lack of winners in the Napoli team. How many players in this Napoli team have won major trophies before? I think Di Lorenzo's won the Euros. Lozano's won the Eredivisie. Then you're struggling. I mean, who else is there? I mean, I don't know if I'm missing anyone, but I can't think of anyone that's actually won. Nobody that's won or played in big games in the Champions League latter stages. I mean, so that is going to be the big question mark. It always is. But then they do have a lot going for them, which some of the other challengers in this Champions League won't have. The lead in Serie A, I think, definitely can help. Being 15 points clear and having that possibility, if they keep that up, of being able to rest players before Champions League and around Champions League games will be massive. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They play the return leg, Napoli, in 3 weeks' time. Then the first leg of the quarterfinals won't be till April, if I'm not mistaken, after the international break.
Yeah,
I think I'm correct in saying that. So you're looking at 6 weeks away before the next. I mean, by then, Napoli, if they're 15 points clear, they can realistically play their reserves before every single Champions League in the game before every Champions League game. And have a whole week rest. Which will be massive. If they're playing against a Premier League, well, I mean, might not be any Premier League teams in it, but they're playing against a Premier League team that playing such high intensity matches a few days before, and Napoli going to that game fresh, that will help them. But I have to look at, the two world class players they have in attack. I mean, I really think if they keep Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen fit, I think they're that good, that experience or no experience, and they're fearless, both of them. I think they have a chance against anyone with those two. If those two are fit and on form, you can't rule them out with those two. That's how highly I rate them. These players, I think they're
No.
both top 5 in their position.
I just want one thing. Can we not make too much out of this Premier League thing? Because we all knew Real Madrid were going to beat Liverpool. Very expected. But the rest is not over. And there's no doubt in my mind that City are going to go through against Leipzig at home. I feel Chelsea will see off Dortmund at home as well. And it's going to be really difficult. So I think let's not read too much into it. The ties are not over. The only team that I'm comfortable, the only Italian team I'm comfortable to say that has gone through is Napoli, because I think they will absolutely destroy Eintracht at the Maradona. But other than that, it's far from over. So I don't think we can read too much into this Premier League's clubs losing. And it's like 3 weeks away until the second leg return, which I don't like. So between the first and the second leg for each team. So let's be a bit cautious here.
Yeah, the Premier League teams, of course, they're incredibly dangerous, and Man City, Man City especially, you don't want to play them. But even if all the Premier League teams go through, I think Napoli, they've got nothing to fear. Even in years gone by, I would never want to play Man City. I'd be scared shitless of playing them. Now, Napoli play against Man City. Man City are going to be favourites to win that. Of course they are. But I would be confident that Napoli have a chance of going through. I wouldn't have said that in past years because I don't think Man City are the same team. So you're looking at the other challengers in this competition as well, and I think that's an important point. Of course, luck will also play a role. Keeping players fit, not getting an anti-Italian ref. We actually had some good calls for once this week in the Champions League. I mean, I thought the Moani red card was a little bit harsh, personally.
No,
I don't think it really mattered for the tie because Napoli were battering them before against 11 men, and they battered them with Timmer. But once that red card happened, the game was over. There was no chance of Frankfurt getting.
But the thing is, like the referee, the laws of the game as they've been interpreted and applied. I know there's no intent in that red card, absolutely, but it doesn't matter. It's you're responsible.
By the laws, it probably is it probably is justifiable.
It is. You can't do that.
I still thought it was harsh. Because
it's like Alexis Sanchez last year against Liverpool. You can't do that. You're no longer allowed to do that. When Maradona was playing, you could do that and then some.
But it was so unfortunate, though, the way that he just and he had the other foot on the ball and he was just a little bit late and he had his foot up. It was just a natural, instinctive what you do. When you're challenging for a ball, you put your foot up a little bit and it wasn't over the ball. I mean, I thought it was. Let's just say it was unlucky. But
yes, I think unlucky. I agree.
Those are the kind of decisions. But what I mean, my overall point is that those are the kind of decisions that you need to go your way. Often those decisions don't go against Italian teams. Those 50-50 or 60-40 decisions, they often don't go Italian way. We need those decisions to go our way. Even the Inter game, I mean, it was a definite red card for Ottavio. But, we need these decisions going for us, basically. Lautaro could have got booked in that game. These are the kind of decisions, and he would have been out the second leg. These are the kind of decisions that, we need a bit of luck as well, the refs. We don't want to have a terrible ref that shafts us. But one thing Napoli do need to sort out is they need to sort out their penalties. They've missed 3 of 6 penalties in the Champions League this season. They also missed one in the league. I mean, they were rotating penalties before until Kvara has taken the last 2. He scored 1, now he's missed 1. They need to sort this out, Napoli, because later in the competition, this could be the difference between going through and going out, whether it's in normal time or if it goes to a penalty shootout, which is very possible. There's going to be a lot more penalty shootouts going forward in Champions League because there's no away goals rule anymore. There'll be loads more. So there's a very real possibility one of their ties could go to penalties. Now, if one of Napoli's ties goes to penalties, I'm sorry, but they're going out. They're going out. They're not going through on the penalty shootouts with these penalty takers because they all look that there's none of them have got any confidence. So they need to go on the training ground and just take penalty after penalty after penalty. I don't know, sort themselves out because that is a clear weakness in this team is their penalties. But other than that, they look like the complete team. They've showed they could defend in this game in the first 10-15 minutes. They can defend, they can attack. And they showed their togetherness as well. Look at the spirit in this team. Look at Osimhen going straight to Kvaratskhelia after that penalty miss, putting his chin up, showing him, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. These are the things. Osimhen, he's on the bench cheering on his team whenever he comes off. They're all in this together. So, yeah, why not?
No, absolutely. No, I think. Look, I think the draw as well. I think as long as they can avoid City and Bayern, I think they have they can beat anyone else. And I think
And Madrid. I mean, you don't want to play Madrid
I think
either.
that I can't. Part of me wants them to play Madrid because I think they have a good chance against Real Madrid. I don't think Liverpool are very good. I got to be honest with you, and I think we've seen that this season throughout. They just it looks like everything about Liverpool has the hallmarks of an end of an era, from ownership to management to squad to the key players to the coach. I think it just feels like it's got that feeling about it that it's getting old and stale, and they need they need to start all over again. And so I think I'm not surprised at all by Liverpool being as poor as they are. But no, I'd like to. I think Napoli can beat Real Madrid without a doubt.